Exactly, because it is just a mistake. It's not a planned killing. You didn't plan to do anything bad. You just accidentally did.
It's always... I would love to see a movie about, like, a serial killer. Like, he was insane, and he tied people up and cut their ears off and drank their blood. And, like, no, that's very extreme, but you know what I mean? But then he's supposed to be, the redemption arc hero in the movie.
I think Hollywood is a little bit afraid of doing that.
Yeah, because it would be too hard, It's too complex. Hello, and welcome back to the SpoilerCast, the show where we talk about, you guessed it, movies. And we don't care about spoiling them because it's the SpoilerCast. Jesus Christ. This is a weird one. You're right. My name is Tobias, and your name, the other one, not you listening, I don't know who you are. I know some of you are, but I don't know all of you. But my co-host and sister is called Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello.
We got a comment that we didn't introduce ourselves in one episode, so we'll try and not forget it again.
Right. Because that's so important.
Yes. Obviously.
We are important people. Anyway, this episode is weird. It doesn't feel like a Saturday. Which is even weirder since this is the first week in a long time that I actually had a day job. So this should feel even more like a Saturday, but it doesn't.
No. I think it's because we didn't go see this in theaters.
Yes, I was going to say that. We did not watch a movie in the theaters this week. I did last week, but that doesn't count because we're not going to talk about that movie. I watched Men. Here's my short review of that one. Better than people say. I think people just don't want to like it for some reason.
Oh, because it's called Men, probably. You know what? We'll save that one because I am going to see it eventually. Whenever I find the time. So we'll talk about it at some point in the future.
Yeah,
because I do want to talk about it.
Sure.
But today, we are talking about a Netflix release.
Yes, it was released yesterday.
Yes.
As of the time we're recording this.
So Friday the...
17th.
17th. That's the one.
We're recording this Saturday the 18th. And the movie is Spiderhead, starring Chris Hemsworth.
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller, right.
And Jurnee Smollett. Smollett?
Don't know if she's related to Justice Smollett.
Either
way. It's about a bunch of inmates who have volunteered to do some drug trials at a secluded facility.
Instead of being in regular
prison
of some sort.
They start questioning what kind of drugs they're actually being exposed to.
Yes.
It's based on a short story called Escape from Spiderhead. Yeah, Spiderhead... It's one of those names where ooh, Spiderhead, what is that? What does that mean? No, it's just the name of the control room.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it has a double entendre since the drugs deal with, it deals with controlling people. So
yes.
The control room is the Spiderhead, so you call the movie Spiderhead. And the short story then is called Escape from Spiderhead because they break free from the control. Spoilers, I suppose. Anyway. Well, it's a spoiler cast. And this was a Netflix movie. And I gotta say, I just watched the trailer, 2 weeks ago or something like that?
Yeah, I think I did that too.
Yeah, first time I heard of it. And I watched the trailer, and I was like, oh, cool, Chris Hemsworth, like him, Miles Teller, like him, I don't know the other ones. This does not look good. And I was like, I'm not really gonna care about this. Then, literally yesterday, we were still trying to figure out what we were gonna watch since we weren't going to the cinema. Because there's no movie we care about in the cinema right now. And I was on lunch, and I saw Spider pop up, and I was like, is that out? Let me look. And I clicked on IMDb, and I saw that it was Joseph Kosinski who had directed it. And I was like, what? He just made one of the best movies of the year, or of this decade, really. Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes this movie good. How about we do that one? And it also just came out, so at least we're talking about a new movie. I didn't think we were going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's Chris Hemsworth, it's Miles Teller, it's popular people, it's, even if Netflix can convince them to work with them, it feels like they appreciated it. They liked the script, at least.
Your cat didn't get up on the...
I saw that. She failed.
Anyway,
If you heard that little commotion in the back.
Yeah.
It feels like they wouldn't agree to work with Netflix unless it's a good script, at least.
Yeah, and the script is written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who was earlier written the Deadpool movies. They wrote Life and some other stuff, I don't remember. And I mean, I liked the Deadpool movies. I wasn't a huge fan of Life. But I mean, they seem like competent writers. And
yeah, he wrote Paul Wernick. Wernick, yeah. At least he wrote Zombieland as well. And,
oh right, yeah. I think they were both involved in Zombieland, both 1 and 2, I think.
Probably. Though they did write 6 Underground as well, which was terrible.
Yeah, that one. I didn't even manage to finish that one.
I mean, I did, but barely.
Yeah. But their track record is more good than bad.
Yes.
So it was like, yeah, let's watch it. And we did. And I'll ask you, since we broke the formula last time, but I'll ask you then, what did you think of Spiderhead?
It was kind of dull.
Yeah?
The premise was interesting, obviously. It has like a cool idea, but I don't know, nothing really happens until like the last 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Barely even 40 minutes. Well, 40 minutes, I suppose, because that's when Heather loses it completely.
Yeah.
Basically. But no, it was kind of meh.
Yeah, it's...
I guess you felt the same way, to be honest.
I mean, I liked it. Yeah, I don't think the script was the strongest part.
No.
The strongest aspect of it, I should say. For me, it was Chris Hemsworth, who,
oh, yeah.
I mean, we have seen him do, like, more heavier roles before. But, I mean, when you think Chris Hemsworth, you think Thor.
Unfortunately.
And that's never been, like, a strong acting-wise, performance.
No.
The closest is, I suppose, the end of Infinity War and some of Ragnarok. But I mean, he's still just, oh, I'm Thor, I'm the guy,
Yeah, he's just doing the one thing, basically.
Yeah. But I mean, he's done, admittedly not a great movie, but, he played the captain in The Heart of the Sea, which I like that movie just because I like, ships and captains.
No,
and
but that one
boats
was I think that's the one we saw, right?
Yeah, it's the story on which Moby Dick is based.
Right, yeah, no, that one was good.
Yeah,
at least he was good in it.
Yeah, he's good in it, but not much happens in that movie.
No,
except for the big whale who eats the ship. But other
exactly.
than that,
but no, he has a pretty good track record. He can do shit. He can do bad.
Stuff. No, he's not. He's never been bad. But I mean, he's never like, except for a few things, he's never really been challenged to do some like heavy duty acting.
No, he's always. He's always usually kind of a simple guy or very charismatic and over the top. Yeah. And I think he was a bit charismatic and over the top in this one as well, but at least he had, they had emotions to act with because of the drugs.
Yeah, and there were layers to his character.
Yes.
I thought I'd say this is his best performance so far in his career. Like this is
from what I've seen, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen everything, but
I'm thinking because I want to check out Bad Times at the El Royale. I feel like he would be good in that one.
I've heard good things about it, but it's 2.5 hours long. Yeah. I was like, I can't.
This movie had that going for it. At least it wasn't that long.
It's like 90 minutes if you don't count the credits.
Yeah, and it's very to the point. It starts straight away almost, and it ends very like this is the end.
Yeah, which that's a trend that's been happening. Like these movies filmed during quarantine, even though this was, I guess, technically filmed just before quarantine, because it was like shot in early 2020, so just before restrictions, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it still feels like, because a lot of movies that come out now, especially on streaming services, are very small, very contained.
Yes.
Always in like one building. Mm-hmm. Mostly, I guess, then first of all to keep costs down, but also to minimize crew, because you were filming during a pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix literally has a movie about filming a movie during a pandemic where you're in like a COVID bubble. It's called The Bubble. It's
Oh.
horrible. Don't watch it. It's the worst movie I've seen this year, and one of the worst movies I've seen ever. It's terrible. But still, so this feels like that, because it's mostly in one space.
Yes.
For the most part, there's like 2 or 3 people on screen at the same time. And it feels very, it feels small somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, they do film stuff. There's stuff added to it to expand the horizons, expand the vistas, so to speak. But for the most part, it's very isolated.
It does make sense, though.
Sure, yeah.
Subject,
Yeah, but I mean, that's why you pick
a subject like this, or
a subject like this,
like
because
this.
you can do it under, under these restrictions.
Yeah, in containment.
Yeah.
I figured out where Lizzie, where I recognize her from. She's Black Canary in Birds of Prey.
Oh, yeah.
That's why
saw that
because
movie
I did
once.
feel like I recognized her, but
No.
I couldn't really pinpoint it.
It was an okay movie, but I gotta say, I don't remember her.
Uh,
I really only remember,
Margot Robbie.
see, I barely remember. Now, what's her character's name? Jesus Christ.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. Yeah. I remember Harley Quinn because it's a Harley Quinn movie. And I remember Huntress because it's, now I can't remember her name either.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean though. She's one of your favorite actresses.
Yes.
Either way, I just wanted to point out that that's why I remembered her. But most of the other actors, I have no clue who they are, to be
No,
honest.
the guy who plays Rogan plays one of the sons of Morton Joe in Mad Max Fury Road. That's the only one I recognized.
Right. But he's just hired for his size, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's an actor, obviously, but like...
Yeah, he's a
big.
big dude. So, one of the big scary guy. Yeah, so they got him, yeah.
Other than that, I have no clue who the
No,
rest
I
are.
didn't recognize anyone.
No one was bad, though.
No, I thought everyone was good.
I think the acting was the one thing that worked.
The acting saved it, and I thought the way they had written Mr. Abnesti or Steve.
Yes.
Was
I hate the names in this movie, though.
That's Chris Hemsworth's character. He was quirky, in an interesting way. And like I said, there was layers of, like, the most interesting aspect of the movie was him, like, trying to figure out what he is doing and why he's doing it.
Yeah.
And who he really is. Because, he is probably the one we get most insight into, other than Miles Teller's character. The fact that, he seems to stay on the island or the facility, and when
more or less all
workers,
the time.
Yeah, I mean other workers. There's only him and the Mark character who seems to be there, actually working. The rest are inmates because the inmates take care of. Because it's a very, it's not like a prison. They're very free. They have jobs, but they take care of cooking and cleaning and anything else that needs to be taken care of is done by the prisoners.
Yeah, they have
There's only Mark and Steve there who are.
They have a couple of security guards.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
but that's about 2 of them. So
yeah, but we see, and on the weekends, Mark goes home, or goes to the mainland.
Leaves.
Yeah, while Steve stays there, and he has his apartment there.
Yeah.
Which is strange, and he's taking these unsanctioned drugs himself just to test them out,
Yeah, so he can actually know what they feel like instead of just listening to what people say they feel like.
Yeah, and then I think it's so funny that his taste in music, when you're doing like an evil character or someone who's quirky, you want them to listen to something like weird, he only listens to classical music because that's a classic, villain, like haha da 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 da, No, he likes 80s soft rock, yacht rock stuff, Hall & Oates and Michael McDonald, and I just thought that's so funny. That he likes the most generic music ever created, besides modern pop.
Yeah. He felt like for some reason, I got like Steve Jobs gone weird.
Yeah, that's obviously what they're
basically.
going for. Like the genius billionaire who, who can't really, he can't really connect with humans. He's a bit autistic.
And this guy went a little bit too far, probably.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't like that he was called Steve. It bothered me.
Yeah, I mean, he even has the clothes, he has the suit, but he has the sneakers with it.
And he's a t-shirt guy, but he's got to wear a suit jacket over.
Yeah. And the fact that he seems to be taking these drugs and manufacturing these drugs because he himself is a bit emotionally, what do you want to call it?
Inept.
Inept, yeah. While the premise is not... Because literally the movie it starts with us getting to know all the characters, seeing what they're there for, which is to try out these drugs that can change your emotions, change like
your emotional state.
That's what all drugs do, because most emotions are just chemicals, but this is like
this is very specific emotions.
Very, very specific.
It's making you feel like you're in love. It's making you feel hungry. It's making you feel happy, making you laugh, making you fear nothing. Be afraid of everything, I suppose. Is a better explanation.
Not like you call like alcohol liquid courage. No, like literally, like it's just switches and you start
That's
laughing.
the only emotion you have.
Everything is funny. Yeah. I mean, they have the one called Verbaluse, where you become kind of emotionally distant, but you're able to
explain and articulate your emotions and everything you're thinking very clearly and very very well, well spoken.
Yeah. And they have a bunch of these, and the one they're testing right now is the one called N40, which the name is or the call sign is Lovactin, which is basically a love drug. Yeah. So they're testing all these out, but then they have the one called Darkenflox, which is the one that makes you go like, because they have the other one, the fear one, Phobicin or whatever, but Darkenflox is like different. It doesn't make you fear things; it just makes you like it gives you.
It's like you're hallucinating your worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's not fear, it's not rage, it's somewhere in between.
Yeah. And too much of it will make you obviously go kind of insane.
Yeah, and it's the one that Jeff, Miles Teller's character, he talks about it because he was like in one of the early groups to test it. So it's the worst thing ever. It was he describes it pretty well when he says it was like I was being set on fire. I felt like I was on fire, and I would have set myself on fire to get rid of it.
Yeah. So anything is better than Darkenflox, basically.
Yeah. It literally feels like you're dying without dying. It's just constantly feeling this, like you're dying, ramped up to 11. But then, so they keep trying these drugs, and that's what you're getting at. Not a lot happens. You're just testing the drugs.
Yeah. So you get to see Jeff and the other ones sort of react to them, and you see Amnesty Steve writing down notes and asking questions and trying to like coax them into getting where he wants them to get.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird.
Yeah, because it's a slow burn, where the big problem is I don't really know what the purpose of the movie is, because like I said, for the first hour, it's about them trying the drugs, and it's a little weird. We see the one guy who just eats nonstop.
Oh yeah, Dave. He's always hungry. Doesn't matter how much he eats and throws up, he's still hungry.
Yeah, when asking, how are you feeling, Steve just says, hungry, and he keeps eating even though he just threw up. Which is
apparently also a drug to make people hungry. Yeah. I guess to help cope with eating disorders or something?
Yeah, well, that's what they get to in the end. We'll talk about it, because I don't really care about spoiling this. This is a Netflix movie. We're not going to have like, the first 20 minutes is spoiled. No. We're just going for this one. When you talked about the one where Heather freaks out. Heather is one of the other characters. We don't really get to know much about her. She's in like 3 or 4 scenes.
Yeah, no, she's just a pretty girl, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they even like she's literally a bitch. That's how they describe her. Like Jeff or Steve keeps saying, "Oh, I hate her. She sucks," because she's
always late. She's always a bitch to everyone.
Yeah,
but she's there, so.
Yeah, and they inject her with Darkenflocks, because they want to. The test is because earlier in the movie, Jeff and Heather were in the same room when they were injected with Lovactin, and they didn't really like each other because, you know, she's very standoffish, and he doesn't respond to that. But as soon as they get Lovactin, they go, like, nuts.
Oh, yeah.
And not just... Because first she's like, oh, so they're just horny. But no, afterwards, they're, like, cuddling. And he literally says, I love you. And she's like, aw.
And he even says, like, I never thought this would happen.
Yeah,
cuddling.
Yeah.
And then, I love you. And she's like, I love you too.
And
he experienced basically the same with another subject, Sarah, I think?
Yeah.
Which is a lady he would not normally probably be attracted to at all, because she's older, she doesn't look conventionally pretty.
No, she is what people would say, this is a cruel term, but she's a crack whore.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she looks like. I'm sorry.
And that's probably why she's incarcerated, so...
Yeah, she probably killed or hurt someone over drugs, yeah.
It's a stereotype, but yes.
Yeah. But they dose them with Lovactin, and hey, they go at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, you know, the test there is to see if when the drug is out of their system, is there any residual emotions there?
Yes.
Is he still going to be in love with Heather or Sarah? You know,
fall in love.
But we find out that, you know, when Mark, the other guy who works with Steve, there's so many generic names in this movie. Mark, Steve, Jeff. Who are these characters?
That was my issue with it. Because you have Steve, which is just a rip-off of Steve Jobs, it feels like.
Yeah.
Jeff is such a dumb name to give to your main character.
Yeah.
Because especially now. Because everything you hear when someone says, my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Exactly.
Or, I mean, if we talk about crazy billionaires, Jeff Bezos.
That too.
Yeah.
And then Mark, Mark, cool. Who the fuck is Mark?
Yeah, it's you know, it's these, also they're one syllable. Mark, Steve, Jeff. You know, there's no, like, you call, that's like...
Add a Charlie or something.
Yeah, Rogan sticks out. It's not a super common name, and there's at least Rogan, 2 syllables.
Yeah.
You gotta do that to, you know...
Switch it up a bit.
Differentiate your characters, yeah. Call someone Jordan or something, you know?
Yeah, instead of Jeff.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, yeah. So, to test if
Wait, I gotta point out one more thing, sorry, when we're on the names. Mark is listed as Verlaine. Is that his last name? And Mark was his first name.
That's what it says in the credits as well. It was, who the fuck is Verlaine?
But his real name, the actor, is Mark Paggio, or something.
Yeah, but they call him Mark in the movie, right?
Right, yeah?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Abnesti is listed as Abnesti, but he's Steve Abnesti, so it's possible that he was Mark
Verlaine. They never mentioned
Verlaine
in the movie, that's why it was weird in the credits. Anyway.
Sorry, side note, just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
If you wonder who we're talking about, it's the guy marked as Verlaine on IMDb.
Yes. So he goes to fill up the... Because they all have the drugs in like a little... it's machine that's attached to them on their back. It's sort of like...
Looks like the ones that diabetics have that read their blood, basically.
Yeah. And some people have... I don't really know what they're for, but some people have like... It's like a Band-Aid, but with like a plastic container on it.
No,
nowadays.
I think that's the one that reads... That analyzes your blood somehow, I think. You can like attach your device to it.
It's like giving you diabetes medicine or something.
Right? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. It's reminiscent of that. They put little capsules in them. There's like... So you can have 4 different drugs.
Yeah.
You have Lovactin, you have Varbalose, you have Darkenflocks, and something else. They have...
I-6. I don't remember what that one was supposed to be.
Well, we'll get to that one. Because that's really what the movie's about.
Yes.
So we get to the scene where Jeff is in the control room. He's in the Spiderhead with Steve and Mark, and Sarah and Heather is in the test room.
Yes.
And they're going to administer Darkenflocks to one of them, and Jeff has to pick. And it's to see if he picks the one he loves the most, you know. Or it doesn't pick the one he loves the most.
He wants to save the one he loves the most.
Right.
But he's honest because he's on Verba, whatever it was called.
Verbalus.
Yeah, so he's like, but no, I don't care about either of them. I just don't want anyone to experience that shit.
Yeah, he has no elevated feelings for them, but he wouldn't wish Darkened Flux, on his worst enemy.
Yeah,
because it's so
that
horrible. Yeah. So you're like, oh, okay, sure. But then later in the movie, it's just Heather in the room.
Yes.
And they say, like, you don't have a choice. We're just going to observe your reaction
to her experiencing it.
Yeah.
Problem is, she freaks out so much that she slams herself into the wall a couple of times, breaking the dosage system.
Yeah, so it just
flooding herself.
All the Darkened Flux. Yeah. Which she goes.
Yeah.
So she trashes the room, picks up a piece of splintered wood, and shoves it in her throat.
Yeah.
Oh. Killing her instantly.
Basically immediately.
Yeah. And it's at this point, Mark and Steve run out of the room to, try to, fix the situation.
It's a reaction.
Yeah. And that's kind of when the Verbalus kicks off. No, not kicks off. It runs out of Jeff's system, and he kind of comes to, like, shit, what am I watching? And he realizes that Steve dropped his keys.
In the commotion.
Yeah. The only, because they have an open door policy, which they talk about. Like, no one's really, as long as you're in the facility, you can pretty much go wherever you want to. So that's why Jeff can just walk into the control room if he wants to. But there is one locked cupboard or drawer, and that's where
in the control room.
Yeah, that's where Steve keeps his little notebook. So Jeff grabs the keys, opens the drawer, and reads the notebook. And he first of all figures out that Steve Abnesti, he is not there as just a doctor and part of some company who's developed these drugs. No, he owns the company.
Yeah, it's like Abnesti something pharmaceuticals.
Abnesti Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. So he's literally just doing this for his own winning.
Yeah, and he's testing all these drugs, and all of them he's gotten results on, except for the last one, which is I6, I think it is.
Well, yeah, that one, and he's still working on Lovactin, though.
Yeah.
But he's naming them all, which is just a weird detail, but he's naming them all based off a bingo chart.
Yeah.
Or bingo card, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, so they're basically just mixing up chemicals, see what reaction it gets. So today we're doing D14. All right. It made them throw up all the time. So we call this Pukalux.
Yeah.
And then they just make up a dumb name for it. A typical, like, medicine sound name. Like we said, Phobicil.
Yeah.
Lovactin.
Just, the word you kind of want it to do, and then some sort of combination of letters that sounds medical.
Exactly, yeah. So they figure out that they're literally just, like, playing with people's emotions.
Yeah.
But then there's the one that they haven't tried yet. And of course, they're the Darkened Flux, which doesn't really sound. I guess it's supposed to be because we don't really know exactly what it does. It's not fear. It's not anger.
Fears, I think.
It's something in between. So Darkened Flux, I guess. Would have been better to call it Darkened Flux, because flux is when it's a flow.
You fluctuate, I think.
Yeah. Anyway,
either way,
he finds the
he finds a drawing of the molecular.
All right, the molecular
drawing sort of thing
of something called OBDX.
Yes.
And then he starts questioning when the next time Mark is there to fill up his little medicine
dosage
container
system.
Yeah. He asks him, what is I6? What is, what are you actually doing here? Like, and it's kind of weird because, there was one incident, and there is that whole, he really wants to push for using Darkened Flux all the time, even though he promises over and over again, like, we're never going to use Darkened Flux again, I promise.
We don't like using it either. It's just something that, the board, he keeps talking about the board, going up making calls to the board, but there is no board.
No.
It's just Steve Abnesti.
Yeah.
Doing his own bidding. Jeff, he kind of, I guess, scares Mark or threatens him or something.
Yeah, sort of.
We don't get to see it properly, but we find out later that Mark didn't really fill up Jeff with all the things.
No.
And he switched out the drugs on Steve as well.
Yeah. Because that's another thing, like, when Jeff just goes into Steve's apartment one morning when Mark is filling up his drug container.
Yeah.
You know. He's like, oh shit, hey, you didn't see that, I'm not getting high on my own supply,
I mean, I wouldn't take that as a bad thing, to be honest. As long as he's not using them while he's performing the experiment.
Well, yeah, sure, but it definitely shows a lack of
professionalism,
respect, or whatever you want to call it. Like he's just drugging himself at night with love actin or the Laffadil.
Yeah, that's true.
Daffodil. The Laffadil, of course, is a laughing drug. So he's just up there in his little room getting high all the time. Which, it's not what you want a scientist to do. Like, at night, he just tries out these experimental drugs on himself for fun. Like,
no, that's true.
Should be more professional,
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jeff concocts this little plan, like, because he realizes, yeah, like you said, like, it's the last 40 minutes, nothing has really happened. Now we gotta fucking get somewhere. So he's kind of, after Heather's death, he just switches, like, okay, this is fucked up, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blackmail Mark to get the cops here, and then I'm gonna try to make, Steve confess to whatever he has been doing. Problem is as far as we know, we do get some more information, but as far as we know, they are there of their own accord. Like, they chose to go there to get reduced sentences for their crimes.
Or instead of prison.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
They've all done horrible stuff, obviously.
Yeah, although it's a classic, like, Hollywood, like...
Oh yeah, the main guy isn't bad.
No, because he was drunk driving and killed his... best friend and girlfriend or something like that.
Something
or his
brother.
Like that, yeah. They don't really explain who the guy was, but...
it's his friend.
His friend or something, yeah. But yeah, it wasn't like he shot up a school or anything. He's not a bad guy. It was an accident. And the same thing with the real love interest, which we haven't talked much about. Lizzie,
Lizzie.
Who he, like, not just love acting falls in love with, but actually falls in love with.
Yes.
Who, she's hiding what she really did. He thinks she was just stealing...
she tells him that she used to steal stuff with her friends, and one Christmas they, like, broke windows and stole everyone's presents, basically, and then they saw the Grinch, and got remorse.
But then, during one of the other Darkenflux episodes, when they're saying, because Steve finds out that Jeff and Lizzie are in love,
yeah,
so he's like,
he's obviously watching everything.
Yeah, and at that point, he doesn't want to do the he says he wants to do the Darkenflux test, for some reason, but it's really just because he's like,
he
jealous.
wants to punish Jeff.
Yeah, he wants to punish Jeff because you're not supposed to fall in love here. You're supposed to fall in love with my drug.
Yeah,
and
you're supposed to do what I tell you to do.
Yes, exactly.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. And he just refuses. He says, like, you have to administer the Darkenflux. And he's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And then they, you think she's so nice and everything, like, but this is who she really is. And then she admits to why she's actually in prison, and it's because she, quote unquote, killed her own infant daughter.
Yeah.
But once again, it's not like, she strangled the baby because she, of course, horrible. She was going to work, and she left. Was
stressed.
She was stressed, so she left her daughter. On a hot July day in the car for 3 hours with closed
before
windows.
She realized, and oh my god, the kid died.
Yeah,
obviously.
So the kid died of
heat stroke.
Heat stroke. That's what it's called. Yeah, which is horrible. I gotta say. And once again, talking about it was an accident.
It's not active murder. It's involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, they're both in prison for manslaughter, which is not a good thing. But I mean, it's the thing where you can forgive someone for making a mistake, Exactly, because it is just a mistake. It's not a planned killing. You didn't plan to do anything bad. You just accidentally did. It's always... I would love to see a movie about, like, a serial killer. Like, he was insane, and he tied people up and cut their ears off and drank their blood. And no, that's very extreme, but you know what I mean? But then he's supposed to be, the redemption arc hero in the movie.
I think I think Hollywood is a little bit afraid of doing that because of
it would be too hard, It's too
not
complex.
only that, because we have murderers who did that in real life and then got so many fans in real life.
Sure.
And it's just weird, and then the fans would almost start killing people for them. We don't want to,
No, I know, but
give anyone any hints here.
But at the same time, people do love when the villain is really evil and devious. I mean, one of the most famous movie villains of all time is Dr. Lecter, and he is a full-on psychopathic cannibal.
Right.
But he's cool.
However,
we almost
he's always
cheer
in prison,
for him,
isn't he?
No, not in Hannibal.
No, that's true.
That's when he's free and they're hunting him.
Yeah, I guess.
And he's still kind of the hero in that story, even though it ends with him feeding Ray Liotta his own brain.
Right.
He's cool. He's quirky. The whole TV show they made about him. People were making these...
Oh my god, yeah, no, you're right. I can
those...
think of more ones. You have Dexter. Doesn't he kill people?
Yeah, but he's only killing criminals. That's also a little bit of a cop-out.
Yeah, that's
even though
true,
he tortures them and he has this very weird serial killer way of doing it. Yeah. I mean, they made a whole TV show about people becoming obsessed with a murderer, or they're called The Following with Kevin Bacon and Tom Jane, I think. No, someone else.
I didn't see that one.
So it's a guy who's in prison, but he's so charismatic that he's orchestrating murders that his followers do for him while he is in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. So it's okay as long as they're not the hero of the story. We can love the characters as long as they're villains.
Yeah. It's just weird.
That's why I love... I mean, this is a tangent, but it's because we don't really have much more to say about them.
No, we can finish this movie off with saying, Jeff freaks out when Lizzie experiences Dark Influx too long and almost kills herself.
Yeah.
So he attacks Steve, breaks the phone, breaks Steve's administration thingy.
Yeah, and confronts him about what I-6 is.
Yes.
And that's when he kind of... that's where we get the whole conspiracy mystery thing.
Yes, because when Steve's thing breaks, he gets flooded with all the drugs, including Verbalux. Or whatever it's called.
Verbalus, yeah.
Verbalus.
Yeah.
So he speaks frankly.
He floods him with I-6.
Or is it the laugh? Oh, right, it's the
I-6. He gives him the I-6 because, we find out that OBDX is just, it means obedience.
Yeah, it's a drug to make you do things.
Yeah, all the different chemicals, that's why they use the bingo thing, because they're just testing different combinations to get to the one where they can control you. Not just control how much you laugh, or how much you love, or how much you scream. No. To a point where you say, do this, and you do it.
Yeah, fall in love, and you will fall in love.
Yeah.
Start laughing, and you will start laughing.
Because I mean, how much money can you really make off of, Lovactin?
Yeah, no.
And also, there's this huge, consent problem when you have drug-induced love.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what he's really trying to develop is an obedience drug, which he can then sell to governments.
And he's saying that it's fine because with that thing, no more Jeffs would exist. No one would drive drunk.
Yeah,
because you can tell them, no, you're not allowed to drive drunk.
No one would leave their child in a car and die. No one would rob someone at gunpoint. You could eliminate criminals, criminality, but crime, yeah. But it's also the whole you're taking away free will. It's what it becomes. It's one of those. It's the philosophy about free will and the illusion of free will and blah blah blah. But they don't. That's literally in the last 15 minutes of the movie.
And then the last 5 minutes of that is Jeff and Lizzie running around trying to get out of this place.
Yeah, because Steve says, "Oh, two of the people are trying to escape. Anyone who catches them goes free." So all the other prisoners are like, "Yeah, get them!" And the movie turns into a madcap comedy for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
because you have the soft rock music playing and everyone going, "I'm crazy! I'm going to kill you!"
The only worst thing about all of this is that Amnesty just chooses not to tell people when they're technically done, when they've spent their days there that they need to spend and they are free. Instead, he just, keeps them staying, keeps them doing things that he wants them to do.
Which is also information we're given in the last
10 minutes.
Yeah. So he's like, Jeff, your sentence was up 7 months ago. And Lizzie
was free a couple of weeks ago.
She was free to go a week ago. I just didn't tell her. I didn't tell you. And it's just
because you were good subjects.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of implications there. Like, so you can assume that he basically bought these people from the prisons.
Oh, yeah.
Because, there's no government regulation. There's no one, like, checking up on them. He just bought them. He got slaves, basically.
Basically.
And
since they're in the prison system, no one really cares what happens to them, so.
Yeah. And like we said, they're doing these human trials on drugs, and no government oversight, there's no FDA, no nothing. And the fact that they're trying to create a mind control drug, basically.
Yes.
These are all interesting concepts that they don't do much with.
Yes, that's my main issue with this movie. The hints of something being wrong should have come much earlier.
Yeah.
And to build up the mystery.
And they, give us the information piecemeal throughout the movie. Not everything in the last 35 minutes.
Because the only thing we get sort of throughout it is that, okay, Steve is up to something.
Yeah.
And he has this book that he doesn't want people looking in.
Yeah. And the fact that he's, and also they don't really do much about him staying on the island. They hint that he is kind of damaged from childhood trauma.
Yeah, he does mention at one point that, my daddy left me at a summer camp, which wasn't a summer camp. It was
it was an orphanage.
Yeah.
Or something
like that.
Calls it something else. But yeah. But I mean, imagine if, why he never leaves the island is because, he was also a prisoner at one time. But then he developed, because he still had money, he developed this facility around his own prison or something, do something with it. Kind of like the doctor in Alien 3, when Ripley asks, why would a doctor choose to like practice medicine in this fucking hellhole, the prison planet they're on? It turns out because he was a prisoner until the prison shut down, and some of the prisoners just chose to stay because they were so what's it called, institutionalized or something like that.
Something like that.
You don't want to re-enter real life, and he just stayed because same thing. He was so used to being a prisoner, so he just started becoming a doctor at this shut down prison. Something like that. They hint at it, like we said, because he's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but that's it. They don't do much with it. And I understand why, because it's based on a short story. I don't know how short, but, a short story.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to find the story.
Escape from Spiderhead, yeah.
It seems to have been published in The New Yorker.
Yes, they mentioned that. So it was probably like one of those, I don't know what it's called, it's called serial?
Something like that, yeah.
Like we have in Swedish newspapers sometimes.
Yeah.
Like stories. And I like I said, I haven't read it because I didn't find out about that until I watched the movie that was based on something. But I'm thinking like that short story is probably more focused on like scenes of them trying out the drugs and scenes between the tests where Jeff more and more grows weird. Like, what are we actually testing here? Why do you want me to have sex with these people I don't like? Why do you want that guy to eat until he pukes? Or, I mean, he's gonna eat until he dies, literally. Like, why are you doing this? And those questions, they don't question it until the very last act, and then everything happens so quickly, and then it's over. It's like, oh.
Yeah. It's weirdly paced and weirdly, like, distributed, I suppose.
Yeah, everything.
The storyline within the movie.
Yeah, because I think you usually call, like, a movie is usually front-loaded with exposition. That is where you have the boring exposition dump in the beginning to kind of flesh out the world, and then you can start the story.
The voiceover over the lands where you explain why there is war or whatever.
This is backloaded with exposition in the very, very last moments of the movie.
It feels like they forgot that they had to explain certain things, and they're like, oh shit, just write it in now.
Yeah.
Fuck it. We'll use one of the drugs as a reasoning. So, there we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Because, I mean, the whole mystery is revealed in 2 scenes. It's the one where he finds the book, and the next one when he confronts Steve about it.
Yeah.
That's
then they run off into the sunset, literally.
Yeah. Lizzie and Jeff in a boat, and Steve escapes in his
water plane.
Water plane, yeah. But since his dosing thing is still acting up, because he broke his the little phone that controls it.
Yeah.
He threw it into the wall.
As well as probably breaking his own dosage thing on the back.
Yeah. So he keeps getting every drug. So he's crying, he's laughing, Yeah.
He's in love at points. Because the love acting, we see that. That's like the first drug we get to see the effects of properly.
Yeah.
They bring Jeff to an outside area somewhere.
Yeah.
And they dose him with it, and they ask him, what do you see? And he just sees everything is so beautiful. There's like prisms and green stuff, and it's gorgeous.
But then we
and
see
he's
reality.
standing in front of like a lumberyard or something.
Yeah, it's some sort of some plant. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's seeing beautiful, lush forests.
So it makes you romantic, basically.
Yeah, you hallucinate romantic stuff.
Yeah, which when you see another person, you just like, and I would say,
beautiful. And when you're flying a plane, that's kind of dangerous.
Yes.
So he flies straight.
He
into
sees a beautiful cloudy sunset. It's beautiful, but he just flies right. But he turns around and flies into the island. And crashes, and that's literally where the movie ends.
Yeah.
No resolution. Oh, they got away.
Nope.
Okay.
The bad guy died. The cops are there to clean up the mess. Jeff and Lacey got away. Cool.
That's it. But
all good.
Once again, didn't they then? I mean, sure, they were technically free, but they still.
They still need to be like. You need to. What's it called? There's a process.
There's a process to be released, right?
Papers to be signed.
It just
stuff to get back, I suppose.
Yeah, it's so abrupt, the ending.
Yeah.
So abrupt. So yeah, that's but I gotta say though, like you said in the beginning of this, the most interesting aspect is trying to figure out Steve, who he is, why he's doing what he's doing. That's interesting. And that's where we get, information doled out a little bit more about him.
Yeah, a little bit at least.
Ways he acts and things he says. So that's much more interesting.
But it's still, like, the first, I think it's 30 or 40 minutes, almost the first half of the movie, we get basically nothing on him either. We just get that he's a little bit weird, he's a little bit quirky. That's about it.
Yeah.
It's still in the second half of the movie when we get the whole, them bonding over the laughing thing.
Yeah.
And he's telling Jeff about his dad.
Yeah.
And shortly after, Jeff walks in on him getting his drugs refilled. So it's still just the second half of the movie where stuff actually happens.
Yeah. And also the fact that I get that it's a traumatic thing when Heather dies, but it's also one accident, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, this whole place is fucked. We're living in a hell world. We gotta escape. Like, why don't just have a few minor incidents gradually make him realize that this is not that much better than real prison.
I mean, you have 3 things that are slightly upsetting happening. One of them is actually upsetting. You have Shitfinger, who's just mentioned.
Right. There's a mysterious person smearing shit on the walls.
Which is disgusting. Yeah. And obviously, since there's no guards, no one is taking care of it, so people are upset about it.
Yeah, but that's,
that's a minor thing.
That's a very minor, because that would happen that happen. Hey, that happens in real life, in real free life.
Fucking schools and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not indicative
like
of the living conditions.
One of the minor incidents.
Yeah.
And then we have Jeff being kind of upset that he thinks he has to have sex with Rogan.
Yeah, they're gonna try out love acting when Rogan is in the room, and he's like, no.
I refuse. And then
I do not.
He shortly after realizes that, it was a test to see who Heather or Sarah
would give the dark influx to.
Yeah. Again, small, minor incident, basically. And then we have Heather killing herself.
Yeah.
And that's when all hell breaks loose. We need more. We need, stories of that one inmate who died because of the dark influx. Not just because of what Jeff has experienced with it, but others having this fear of dark influx.
Yeah. And that's where I understand if this was like a 15-minute movie, a short,
Yeah.
like, short story. Then it would make sense because you have those 3 or 4 small things, and then it's over.
I mean, you could even lose some of them and just have.
Yeah, I would have everything take place. Get rid of Shitfinger and just have it be
in the test rooms. Basically.
In the room. First, he's there with Heather, and like, oh my god, it's so amazing. And then it's like, oh shit, it was just a drug. And then he realizes the same thing with Sarah, but there's no initial attraction there. But then all of a sudden, like, oh my god. And then he's in the room with Rogan. He's like, wait a minute. That's not me. I'm not gay, No offense to anyone who is, but that's not my thing.
I'm not okay with this. Like,
but then, and they don't go through with it in the movie, obviously, because, it's what we call gay panic. They don't want to have a gay love scene in the movie. Or sex scene.
Yeah. Honestly, it would have been better if they did have.
Yeah, because that would have made him feel much more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that would make more sense.
That would have been love acting being even more in control.
Yeah.
It would have made him completely lose all of his preferences.
Yeah. Like, they didn't want to have a gay sex scene, but they were okay with, like, oh, he has sex with an ugly chick. Yeah. I don't know, it's just more offensive.
Honestly, the ugly chick, probably.
Yeah, and then have them try out the different drugs, and then the movie ends with him finally like saying no, because that's also the thing. They keep agreeing to everything because as long as they agree, they get to get out of there.
They do have to give consent before the drug is administered.
Yeah,
each time,
but they're more or less forced to say yes.
I mean, yeah, if they say no, they're just gonna be stuck there forever.
Which is, of course, another part in trying to figure out the chemicals for obedience, the obedience drug.
Because if they then say acknowledge, and he says acknowledge or whatever,
yeah,
or drip on or whatever they said, I don't remember.
Yeah, drip on, yeah.
Then they're not asking for consent. They're telling them to give consent.
Yeah, exactly. They're telling them what to do. Yeah. So, like you said, like, all the things are there. It's an interesting premise, and I kind of want to read the short story now because it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
But even for a 90-minute movie, it felt a little stretched thin.
Yes. I have to be completely honest. I actually watched it in 2 parts because of that.
Okay.
I watched the first half and like, there's nothing happening here. I'm gonna take a break because this is boring. Do something else for a while. And then this morning I finished it.
Oh, really? Okay. I was thinking,
because I was like, I do have to finish it, and I do want to finish it.
All right.
But I feel like it's a waste of talent.
A little
waste
bit,
of time when it comes to having great actors spend so much time making this dull movie.
Yeah. Because that's also something to point out. Like I said, Joseph Kosinski has really...
Great person.
I liked him, but a great person. I don't know him personally, but sure.
Well,
great
director.
Yeah. I liked all... I've seen every movie... He's made that many movies. I've seen every movie except for the last one he made, which was Only the Brave. Or, I mean, the last one before Top Gun. I didn't even know about that one. I mean, I'd seen the trailer, but I didn't know it was a Joseph Kosinski movie. Now I do want to watch it, though. But he made Tron Legacy, which I love, because I'm a Tron fan.
Oh, yeah.
He made Oblivion, which is really cool sci-fi. And then, Amazing. Of course, fucking Top Gun Maverick, one of the best movies of all time. And now this, which is his weakest movie of the ones I've seen. But, there wasn't the direction... The direction was fine. Like, he got great performances from people like Chris Hemsworth, who maybe haven't stretched his acting muscles that much before. But obviously he can do great work with the right director.
It's the script.
Yeah, and the set design, I mean, all the other actors were great. The choice of music was great. Like, all the technical aspects were great.
Yeah.
It was just that it was.
I had one issue with the music. It was a little bit overbearing at times,
and it was a little on the nose when he's like, he's the one, like, he's, what is it? Something, he's doing something to me with science. I don't remember the name of the song, but it's
it was called like Science Man or something.
Yeah. Damn it.
Also, if you watched it on Netflix, at least in Sweden, and you put on English subtitles, you get the CC, so it's for hard of hearing people, I think.
Yeah. closed caption.
So they explained every song for you. It was like, okay, cool. It's that song with that artist every time. So we felt a little bit much, almost.
Yeah,
It's like back in the days when MTV had TV shows. Every time there was a song in an episode, you'd have a little banner at the bottom telling you the artist and the song. Yeah. It kind of felt like that, because there's always a little bit of info at the bottom. It's like, stop.
Hold on, I have the song. Also, like, a lot of the songs were obviously supposed to, like, fit with the theme. So you have the logical song, which is a song about a man, like, being in prison because he's kind of crazy. I mean, that's part of the song, you know.
The song was always talking about the subject at matter at that time.
Yeah. She Blinded Me with Science is the song.
Yes.
Yeah, by Thomas Dolby.
We do have one more thing that Joseph Kosinski has done that's actually good.
Yeah?
I think. Because he's worked on a video short for Gears of War.
Oh, the Mad World trailer, yeah.
They're pretty cool.
I gotta say, like, at the time, I didn't like it, because I thought they were trying to make, like, an emotional and like, delicate trailer for a game that is literally about sawing monsters in half. I thought it added, like, emotional complexity where there was none. But anyway, yeah, it's a cool trailer. It is. I remember it vividly. Yeah. You have, of course, other songs. You have Feel So Good by Chuck Mangione. And
which I think was playing when they were all using Love Actin.
Yeah, and the Michael McDonald song was performed by the Doobie Brothers, but Michael McDonald is involved. What a Fool Believes. Once again, What a Fool Believes. Ha 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 ha.
It's all very on the nose.
Yeah. And then, of course, when it ends, I don't know how it fits, but it's ever since it was in Step Brothers, that song is perfect for, like, juxtapositioning something, like, kind of horrible. Not that it's horrible in Step Brothers, but it's used that way, and it's like used that way in memes. Something horrible with a song that is very upbeat. It's You Make My Dreams Come True.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What I want. Amazing song once again. Hall & Oates. And I don't know. I love that song, and it was funny to hear it in the movie, but I don't know how it fit really more than, oh, it's funny, it's the song.
Yeah, no, it felt like they were just throwing in a meme.
Yeah. Which was why the ending felt comedic. And also, they had the shit finger scene, where we find out it's Sarah, she's just nuts, smearing shit on the walls. And then she tries to shove it into Jeff's mouth. That's it.
Basically. Yep.
And, we just had this horrific scene where Lizzie tried to kill herself by
literally almost died because she was strangling herself on the floor, lifeless for a second.
Yeah, and then seconds later, we have let's get him. It's so weird.
It's so weird,
and it didn't.
It literally feels like they had shit. We're running out of time. We're running out of we need to just throw in some shit here. Let's just end this movie.
Yeah. And where they had small little comedic things happening throughout the movie, kind of weird things, like darkly comedic, like, I'm not supposed to laugh, am I? Like when Jeff realizes why he's in the room with Rogan, it's like he's just sitting there and it's like, wait,
hold on,
oh no, like,
not my thing.
No, yeah, so it's
Rogan even says, like, you're lost.
Yeah, exactly.
To be funny.
So it's darkly comedic. But then it just ends like a fucking Three Stooges video.
Yeah.
So weird. That's the only time it didn't work. I like that it was, like, weirdly funny before that in such a serious movie, but, yeah. Swing and a miss in the end.
Yes. Unfortunately, it feels rushed. It feels...
Yeah, the ending is rushed. You know what? It could have benefited being, like, 15 minutes longer, so they could just dole out that information. Yeah. But still, keep it under 2 hours. That's fine. I'm glad it wasn't longer than it was, really, even though I wanted it to be longer.
Yeah. There's only 3 trivia, so I'm trying to see if any of them have any, like, reasoning or explanation for anything. No, there's
mostly
nothing.
About, like, these actors have worked together before. Or these actors have been superheroes before.
They're all kind of intertwined with the Marvel universe, sort of. But they're not.
Every actor is nowadays, so...
Except for Jurnee, who's from DC, but
Well, it's a superhero again. Like everyone's in superhero movies nowadays. Oh, it just makes me think of the end of Doctor Strange when Charlize Theron shows up, and then all the tweets. The tweets the day after the premiere was like, and we're so glad to welcome Charlize Theron into the MCU. It's like, oh god. Like, that's the new thing. People just waiting for people to show up in the MCU. Now that's a hell world we live in.
Yeah, I think we said that in that episode.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Another one got caught by the Marvel Disney web.
Yeah. That's why I'm just sorry going off on a tangent, because I forgot my last tangent when we were talking about lovable villains, but whatever. I remember a long time ago when Ethan Hawke talked about, superhero movies and everything. It's like, and there's an old quote from him like years and years ago. I don't remember it exactly, but it's basically like he doesn't pick movies based on like how much money he makes or what kind of awards he can win. He picks movies that he likes, and that's why he has chosen to stay away from movies like that. But then there was a quote like from a couple of years ago, or 2017 or something, where he briefly mentions that Doctor Strange is actually a movie he likes. I like all kinds of movies as long as they're good, Yeah. Yeah, which is like, okay, so, that's kind of the same as the last one, but now he's incorporating some of these movies into what he thinks is good, which is fine, I like some of them too.
Yeah.
But then, earlier this year, he appeared in a Marvel product. Not a movie, but he was the villain in Moon Knight. It's like... So you went from, I steer clear of those kind of movies to, I'm starring in one of them. This is, shit. Alright. I mean, he mostly does good stuff otherwise. We're gonna watch him next week. Spoilers.
Yes, I was about to say that. We are gonna watch, hopefully a good movie then, because Ethan Hawke decided to be in it.
Yeah, he is starring as the villain, I suppose, in The Black Phone.
Yes.
Which I'm excited to see. So
I am now.
Tune in for that next week. Anyway.
Yes, and we can also hint already that will be the last one for the season, so to speak. We'll have a bit of a summer hiatus after that.
Yes. But anyway, that was such a quick tangent, like how
yes,
everyone is in superhero movies nowadays. Anyway, back to Spiderhead. Like it.
Well, rounding it up, I guess.
Exactly.
It's not all that. I'm sorry, but it's dull. It's boring. You have some pretty good acting at points, but I mean they don't have a lot to work with for most of it. So
do you know what I think it is? Because I wrote this on Letterboxd. I wrote an uncharacteristically bad review of it because I couldn't really find words that were interesting. Because I don't know. I even wrote that this was a bad review of an okay movie. Because I still liked it.
You needed some Verbalux.
Yeah. But and that's something that comes up with a lot of Netflix movies.
Yes.
I think we might have talked about that when we talked about Black Crab, the last Netflix movie we talked about. How the premise is always very interesting. They're in a remote facility where they're testing these weird drugs. Interesting. And the trailer's all about we see the effects of the drugs. That's interesting. Or Black Crab.
Yeah.
Oh shit. They're transporting war documents on ice skates through the Swedish archipelago. Ooh, it's dark. Ooh, it's scary. Yeah, interesting. But then the movies are kind of bare bones. And
they fall flat.
Yeah, they have scenes that are perfect for the trailer, and they have scenes that are very like, ooh, attention grabbing. But the movie in general isn't super interesting.
Yeah, because those scenes are about 10 or 15% of it.
Yes. But like we said, that's enough to put together a trailer, which is enough to get people to click on them, which is enough to keep them subscribed to Netflix.
The click is all you need. I don't know if they care if you finish the video or if you just click on it.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like on YouTube. Like, it counts as a view if you watch more than 30 seconds or something.
Yeah, and I mean, the intro is always music, landscape, big scene, and then for about 30 seconds or a minute even, and then you get to the boring part.
Yeah. So
and by then it's too late. So
what they're making, not all of it, of course,
I don't know.
I mean, we have good Netflix movies, definitely.
Sure.
I guess coming back to that all the time, but still, The fucking Irishman. Like, it's an amazing movie. But then we have stuff like this, which is not bad, but it's not great. And it's not so much a movie as it is content.
Yes.
It's stuff to put on Netflix so people will click it and don't unsubscribe from Netflix. To keep them paying those, what is it, $10 every month or whatever it is.
Something like that. For a platform that has so much content, though, they don't need to be pumping out new things every week. Because
But that's what they have to do.
No, but like, they released new TV shows basically once a week.
Yeah.
Along with 1 or 2 movies every week. And I'm saying new stuff.
Yeah, new.
On top of that, they get old stuff that they bring onto the platform.
But you have you realized that there's less and less old stuff, and there's more and more new stuff, and definitely more and more stuff they've produced themselves.
Yes, they're phasing out having to buy in products instead of just producing it themselves, obviously.
And why they need new stuff every time is because unless you're watching it on your computer, you can never see everything. There's no see all, option.
No, I know. Not even on the computer, though.
Isn't there?
No, you can go in and watch like every single genre separately, but you still don't get all of the recommendations, like all of the actual films.
Okay, that might be true then.
You still get there was curated...
like just a general browse thing on the.
Not that I noticed, because I watch Netflix on my computer mostly. That's like the only place I watch it.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, you might. I mean,
you have the trending, you have Watch It Again, you have Recently Added.
Sure.
But there are about 10, 15 movies on that list each.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like, and I think people spend a lot more time just browsing Netflix and actually watching Netflix. So if
that's a meme too, the food gets cold before you actually choose the Netflix film to watch.
Yeah. So if you're paying for Netflix and like 4 weeks in a row, you keep seeing the same 15 movies and TV shows, and you're like, I'm not going to watch any of this. I'll just get rid of it. That's why they have to keep making stuff. So even if you don't watch it, at least this sounds interesting. I'll put it in my watch list, or maybe I'll check it out later.
They could, rewrite the algorithm so that it pops up new movies from the library, though, instead.
But then they can't have the recommended tag, which actually gives you stuff you want to see. It's kind of a...
Because that one would be just the same.
What's it called? Like an evil circle.
Yeah.
Where, they want the algorithm to keep recommending you things, but that means that
Catch-22.
Yeah. But that means that the algorithm is going to exclude 70% of the content from you, because you don't care about that content. So they have to keep making new content to fill up these 30% for each person.
Yes.
That's the problem with algorithms. That's a problem with streaming services. That's why
Which is why I never check Netflix if it exists. I Google it first.
Yeah.
If I want to see something, I Google it, and then, it's on Netflix. Cool, I'll watch it there.
I do the same. Whenever I hear about a movie, I'm like, Letterboxd, because there you have the where to watch thing. Yeah, Sweden, perfect. I'll watch it. Yeah, but So this is. Now we kind of got into an algorithm thing, but still, and we mentioned Disney, so we're on brand.
We're on brand, yeah.
But that's one of the fundamental problems with the movie. It's not interesting enough, so it mainly exists just to be another thumbnail there, with a name on it. Ooh, Chris Hemsworth.
And also, they're trying to ride the Miles Teller wave at the moment, because he's blown up since Maverick.
Well, that's also...
Parts of him.
Yeah.
Parts of him.
But that's also... Because I think he has a working relationship now with Joseph Kosinski. Because this is the third movie in a row that he does with Joseph Kosinski.
Yeah. But I also mean, since the beach scene in Maverick...
Sure.
He is, everyone's talking about him.
Really?
Yeah, at least, anywhere a girl might be, they're talking about him. Because that little dance, apparently, is very attractive. I didn't even think of that.
That's kind of funny, because a few years ago...
Though he's married recently, so...
Oh. Well...
Throwing that out there.
Because I remember a few years ago, a while ago now, around 2015, around when he kind of blew up with Whiplash.
Yes.
a lot of people talking about how they hated his face. Like, he had a punchable face.
Yes.
Is that still a thing, or has it switched now?
No, I think that disappeared.
Okay. Because I never
of the
thought that.
six-pack
Actually,
on
that
the
was something that cropped up in a lot of, like, YouTube videos that talked about movies he was in. It's like, I don't like his fucking face. I was like, okay, calm down, I don't know.
I mean, I think he's also grown up a bit. His face doesn't look exactly this. He had, like, baby fat still in Whiplash.
Yeah,
a little bit of it.
Yeah.
He's more chiseled now in his face.
Yeah.
Along with him working together with Taylor Swift in one of the music videos for her, like, you know, reclaiming her music kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, Maverick.
Yeah.
The shirtless dancing on the beach thing.
The mustache.
The mustache is the thing.
He needs
now.
to keep that mustache. Oh my god.
Yeah, that actually... It looked... He had like a mullet in Spiderhead.
Yeah,
and no mustache. It looked kind of strange.
But I like the hair.
Reason.
I
Sure, the hair was interesting.
Yeah. Now we're talking about hairstyles. But anyway.
Yeah. well, it's Miles Teller.
Yeah. It stuck out, but it's just because I like mullets. All kinds of mullets. I love them. Yeah. Anyway, now we're officially out of things to talk about.
Yes. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Honestly, I'm not going to recommend this. Don't watch it. Isn't that good?
Nah.
Probably read the short story instead.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend it. Honestly, like...
I don't know.
For someone who's not watching it critically, they will enjoy some of the scenes. Like we said, the scenes from the trailer are, creepy when they're trying out the drugs.
Yeah, sure.
And for 90 minutes, yeah, it'll distract you. You know what? It's not a waste of time. If you want to watch it, do it. But there's better stuff out there.
Yes,
Definitely.
That's what I'm saying. There's better movies to watch. Yeah. So, but if you want to, sure, I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't.
Go
but
ahead.
You know,
that's our endorsement. Okay, go ahead. Whatever.
If you're not sure, check out some of our other episodes, and we'll have better recommendations for you.
Oh yeah, even other Miles Teller movies, like we said, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yes.
But that's gonna have to be it.
That's it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. We didn't plug our Patreon like we usually do, but yeah, if you want to hear even more episodes, we recently recorded an episode about Tammy and the T-Rex on patreon.com/don't make a scene. And for just $3 a month, you get one extra episode every week. Not during the hiatus, of course. We have commentary tracks. There are videos there. You might have noticed if
early
you're watching
access to episodes.
Yeah, we have stopped recording the video for this podcast or for this free episode. That is definitely something. If we start doing that again, it's probably going to be on the Patreon.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to see our beautiful faces.
So keep a lookout for that. But also, you know, just watching us or listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where we greatly appreciate it. So give us 5 stars, subscribe, whatever you do on the platform of your choice, and we will see you in the next episode where we talk about the Black Phone, and we're kind of wrapping up this season of the show, and we'll be back. We'll talk more about that week.
Yes.
So until
we'll
then,
tell you about that in the next episode.
Have a good one.
Bye.
The SpoilerCast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is hosted by Tobias Vedén and Rebecca Vedén. Produced and directed by Tobias Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén and Laura Kinney. A huge shout out to all our patrons over on patreon.com/don't make a scene. Laura Kinney, Mom, and Dad.